The House on the Hill. It was a dark and stormy night when Luke, a young college student, decided to explore the old abandoned house on the hill. Legends had been circulating for years about the mansion, which was said to be haunted by the ghosts of its former inhabitants. Moved by curiosity and a desire to prove to his friends that he was not afraid, Luke grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the house. The full moon was covered by black clouds, and the wind howled through the bare trees. When Luke reached the house, he noticed that the front door was ajar. With a slight tremor, he pushed it open and entered. The interior was cold and damp, and the air smelled of mold and old rotten wood. As he wandered through the dark rooms, the light from the flashlight illuminated old furniture covered in dust and cobwebs hanging from the ceilings. Every step made the floor creak, and the noise echoed ominously in the darkness. Suddenly, Luke heard a whisper behind him. He turned sharply, but saw nothing. His heart was pounding in his chest, and he tried to convince himself that it was just the wind. He continued exploring, climbing the creaking stairs that led to the upper floor. When he reached the top, the flashlight illuminated a long hallway with several closed doors. Luke decided to open the first door on the left. Inside, he found an old bedroom with a large mirror hanging on the wall. When he approached the mirror, he saw his reflection, but he also noticed something strange. Behind him in the reflection was a blurry, indistinct figure. Luke turned suddenly, but there was no one there. He went back to look in the mirror, and the figure was still there, closer. With a stifled cry, he stepped back and hurried out of the room, closing the door behind him. The hallway seemed longer than before, and the shadows moved as if they had a life of their own. He heard the whispering again, but this time it was louder, almost a moan. A faint, ghostly voice murmured his name. Luke ran toward the stairs, but he felt an icy hand grab his shoulder. He turned, and saw a pale, deformed face with empty eyes staring back at him. The figure's mouth opened in a silent scream. Luke managed to free himself from its grip and ran down the stairs, staggering and almost falling. He reached the front door and threw it wide open, stepping out into the cold night. She ran without stopping, still hearing the whisper of her name carried on the wind. When he finally reached the safety of his home, Luke locked the door and curled up in bed, shivering. From that day on, he never spoke of the house on the hill again. But now and then, on stormy nights, he still heard her name whispered by the wind and saw, for a brief moment, the pale, deformed face staring back at him from the shadows.